Welcome back everyone. Today I'm going to be showing you the second half of landscape photography, which is the editing side. I use Lightroom and I like to talk about what my thought process is, how I edit images, and basically just follow along to see if you learn anything new. If you don't, it's fine. If you do, great. I just thought it would be nice for me to show you my process when creating these photos for you. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so I start off with Lightroom, and I'm gonna go through a bracketing photo. So this is one photo I took in Beacon Hill 2 weeks ago, and you would have seen this in the not last video but the video before. All right, so there are three photos here. One is overexposed, one is underexposed, and one is evenly lit. So the first thing I do is merge them together. The way I do that is I press Shift, click on all three in a row, and then right click and photo merge, and it's HDR. You can click on HDR panorama as well. This is if you're stitching multiple photos together. That's something we'll look into another day, but HDR is fine. The shortcut to that is Control H to get to this screen. To take a few seconds to create a image, and what it does is create this pre-edited photo as well. It goes through, I suppose, like picks out all the highlights and shadows that where you need them, and this takes out a lot of the manual work for creating a HDR photo. So once that's created, it'll merge it all together here. So it's created this photo here. You can see the sky is not overexposed, the grass in the front, the foreground is not overexposed, and the middle ground and the hot spots with where the sun is, that's not overexposed either. So everything's evenly lit, and you'll see the breakdown of these photos if you just click on 104 here, and then you can still take these photos and do other edits to them if you wish to. So I already shot this tree, however I thought it would be nice to do a slightly different edit to it and just again talk you through the process for that. The first thing I do is go through my presets, see what I think looks good in there. Some of these are for different jobs as well, so they may not even look relevant, but if I like the tone of something, I'll keep that in there. So we've got something like this. So this is quite nice. I use this quite often in Botanical Garden. I like the silhouette it makes for the trees and everything there, and so this could be something we can use. I also have this one. This is a bit more vibrant, and this pops out the sun and the sky as well. Again, these are for other jobs, so things like burger food was for a food job I had, but I like the colors so much that I saved them. But even this, it doesn't look that bad either. Forest lime, forest fuels, things like this, sometimes way overexposed. I wouldn't bother editing this for this job. We've got grainy mocha, very similar to Botanical Gardens. If we go back to 1, 2, so I think grainy mocha is just a bit more brighter, I guess. Yep. And then we've got in the tent, this is in-house Y2B, which is yellow to blue. This is for internal yellow lights, not really for this. This one's quite nice, muted field, quite like this one. We have rose gaze and vibrant wedding indoors. Again, this is not really for this kind of job, but it's for weddings. And I do have other presets as well, but these have been my go-to ones. Yeah, I'd like muted fields and botanical gardens. I think we'll go for muted fields. Just checking. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Muted fields. Okay, so we have this tree here. We have these refraction light spots from the sun, which is created by the lens. I don't like those. So the first thing we'll do is try to get rid of these. So we'll click on this remove tool, make it big enough, and then we just want it to sort of camouflage them. And using AI, the good thing about this is that it will figure out what is supposed to be there and give you options. And I'm trying to remove them. In this case, it's done a very rubbish job. Let's get rid of those. And then if we just do kind of a good job. I mean, if you saw this anywhere else, you would probably not realize it. But nope, not for me. And sometimes this is the trouble you get, like the tools you have don't work exactly the way you want. You've got to play around with them and then see what comes out. A lot of thinking. Okay, so the bottom one's fine. I don't like the top one, so I'm going to change that. See what other options there are. Let's go bigger with that one. So, as in like make the spot bigger. Maybe that is something it will read what's around it. Slightly better. Okay, I'm going to keep that one, and then I'm going to have a smaller one, just covering it. See what that does. All right, that's pretty decent. I like the first one. All right, so now, abracadabra, it's gone. So a bit of light shining through. You can't see it from there. I'm fine with that. Okay, so here are the settings for this photo. If we zoom into here, we have the custom white balance is there. If I put it as shot, will that make a difference? It makes it a little bit warmer, which is fine actually. Quite like that. If we do an auto, what does that think it's doing? A bit more green in there, I think. Yeah, I like the green. Okay, that's fine. And then we've got exposure is plus 50, contrast is plus 15. Highlights, I generally bring this all the way down unless I need it for a specific reason, but even if I put this all the way down to 0, you'll see more of the tree. And overexposed, quite like to bring this just a little bit down. Shadows I've left where it is. Again, we don't have to, so if we can lift this up a little bit, that'll be fine. And white, maybe we can bring that down a little bit. And blacks, we can, yeah, that's fine. We can bring it up just a tiny amount. And sun plus 90, it's okay. So the presence what we've got here, we've got texture, clarity, dehaze. Now, all of these are different versions of adding contrast. If I bring this down, it's very hazy, which is what it is. And then, but adding more contrast is what it's doing. Same thing if I just literally do with contrast here, it looks a bit more hazy. Then contrast at 100. It's again different type of contrast, but contrast is what these are. Clarity does very similar as well. With the clarity, it makes it a bit more of that, you know, on phone filters when you do a selfie, that beauty shot, that's what this does. So the clarity is removing the wrinkles, removing the creases and making it all smooth. And we have on the other end, when we add it to 100%, it's adding all those in. So that's the clarity. And then we've got texture, again, very similar to clarity, where it removes and it just smooths everything out. But I would like to have a little bit dehazing, a little bit less clarity, but let's have a little bit more texture. So what that does is, at the top here, you'll see these trees. So if I just bring this down, if I bring the haze up, they're sort of hidden within these trees and fields. However, if I bring that back, they lighten up a little bit and you're able to notice them a little bit more. And we've got the vibrance and saturation. So with this, I like to again keep it, see what makes a difference. Now I think I liked where it was, which is about there. Saturation, if I go all the way up, all the way down, we don't want it black and white, but we want it a bit more, maybe not too muted. So I'll bring it up a little bit. So we want to see the color of that sun. And I think it's better brought out with vibrance. So if I bring up the vibrance up, mute this, bring down the saturation, that's fine, it's okay. Yeah, that's all right. What I like to do with this, so we'll move on to the tone curve. What I like to do with this, just a slight dip and slight bump. Again, this makes it very contrasty. Lift this up a little bit. Don't be afraid to play around with this one, which you can always undo. And then like that. And then some of the colors you may or may not want in this. For example, green. I know it's a landscape and you don't want green in there. That's ridiculous. I want some green in there, but if I mute it all, you can't really tell what difference it's making. A lot of this is buried in orange, and yellow. So if we move the orange out, you'll see how that's affected. And this is basically doing the same thing here with the vibrance and saturation. Saturation there, and but it's specific to those colors. And we can do this here. Bring that up a bit. I want the sun to be popping a bit more, and everything else sort of just mute it. The blue, I feel like I'm going to mute the blue, and that's because I feel there's too many colors going on in here. So we've got, if we had the blue in there, we would have the blue, the yellow, the green as well, and three dominant colors is sometimes too much to process for your eye, and we need to just mute it a little bit, maybe all the way down. Yeah, we'll just put that green up there. With the hue, we'll push things towards the green. And then we go. We've got this yellow, we've got this green, which is fine. And we've got this. This doesn't make a difference so much to this picture. It does very slightly here. Does it? No, not so much. That's okay. And then what we'll also do is try to make sure we've got lens correction on as well. So this is the lens I used, and take all that off. So let me talk about transform. So this will straighten the image, make it parallel to your eyes. This hasn't done anything to this photo because it was shot well. Let me just check with the update. Yeah, shot well. It was level. There was no vertical issues. So that's good. And we've got a bit of vignetting already in the photo. Just so you know what it looks like without vignetting. Is that you see the slightly brighter corners. I did have it -10, but I think we can go a bit deeper than that. What I'd like to do, actually, I'll keep that off, and then I'll show you another way of getting a vignette, but because I don't want it in the top corners. So we'll go through that in just a moment. Color-wise here, you can add a bit more green just by shifting over the blue primary, which is quite nice. And then add a bit more reddish colors, moving the green primary. And then we've got we'll leave that one there. Tint. No, keep that where it is. Again, this is supposed to be like a moody picture with some color to it. I think I want it a bit more muted overall. So that's fine. And then with the green, I can just add that a bit more in there, but still saturate that and add more. A bit more red. I like that actually. Okay, I think that green actually looks a bit odd now. Let's bring that back. That one. That one. Okay, and let's go back to the top. We've got these filters, so let's add these in. Normally you can do what I would, actually let's just do it. I'm just going to add a gradient here, so I've clicked on that, and then go all the way up to about here. And this will add a bit of darkness to the bottom of the photo. And the reason for this is for your eyes to be drawn to the center of the image. And but at the same time, you can add other filters. So we have this one here where I've brought down the contrast, but added this, increased the shadows and whiteness, and it's still isn't what I'm looking for. So we will add a circular, but don't forget to invert, so it's only on the outside of the circle. Then we'll see that. We'll bring that up a little bit, and that looks good to me. Actually, one more. We'll do one on the top because I want the sky to be brighter. So we are just gonna increase that highlight quite a bit. I want it to be whitish, and then so we add another radial gradient, and this is mainly focusing on the sun. I don't want the sun to be blown out, so I'm just gonna be bringing that highlight down, and bring it like this. Yeah, it's fine. And you see that from where it was in the beginning, so after I added the other filters, which is at 0, I'll bring it down to about here, but then we've got this harsh light there, which I don't like. So I'll make this bigger, and then this one smaller, so it fades out gradually. So we've got it looks harsh, but it's not. It's there. It's fine. All right. So that is mostly what I do. I don't want to lose the details in a lot of these things, so I've increased the shadow just a little bit there. Sometimes what you need to do is just take a moment away from the photo and come back to it, and then readjust. When you're in this tunnel vision where you're just focusing on the photo and you feel like, oh, you need to add this edit or that edit or whatever, you can get sucked into that quite deeply and then not see the mistakes you've made. And sometimes you would go, so what I would do is just go away, come back 5-10 minutes later, have a look at it and be like, whoa, don't need that. But for the purpose of this video, I'm just gonna get this over and done with. Things like, I don't know, like I think the crop needs to be looked at as well. So I don't like this tree here, and I don't like this tree here. I feel like they're in the way. So the crop, we want to change the crop. We think, okay, I think the 4:3 is fine, which is okay. We can do even a 16:10, and and if you don't like the way this is, if you want it more of a portrait shot, you can do so just by pressing X, and that will take you this way, but that's not what we want either. What we want is an actual landscape. So to be a horizontal one, I just don't want this tree in the side. So we'll do that, taken care of. We've got these few branches there. Simple fix. We are gonna be removing that. Thank you very much. We don't want that. We want it more like And that, my friend, is pretty decent. Okay, so one last thing I want to just add quickly is probably the brush. That's just over here, a little bit over here, and spattered over there. This is just to bring out some of that shadow as well. I feel that adds a little more depth to it rather than it all just being swallowed into, I don't know, into the background, which is a nice little touch. We don't want to forget the middle ground. So, okay, I think that is done for me there. It's a nice photo. I don't know how else I could improve this. I think it's maybe the angle could be a bit lower, but again, that's neither here or there with this photo, but it's already done. I hope you found some value out of this video. I feel if there's anything I've missed that you would do in the editing process, let me know in the comments below. I'd really appreciate that. Please follow me on Instagram as well. You'll be able to see all the photos I shoot and edit on there. You'll be able to see it in better detail, I guess. The Instagram page is here. And finally, like the video, share it if you can. I'd really appreciate that. And subscribe if you feel you want to see more of this. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.